Hey guys, let's start with new special chapter of Loyal Pin Volume 1, Episode 2, Touchy Neglected.
This chapter is POV of Pilantita.
Today is late afternoon. The weather is very hot and sweltering. However, Picoy and I still choose to sit and strip the maparang to prepare maparang in syrup and ice for Auntie at the Bua Palace terrace. Realizing again, I found that I was looking for someone almost all the time. For this time, someone and the gang tend to wander around the waterfront pavilion by some coincidence or intentionally, depending on the selection of quote words. But today I don't see that couple, not even a shadow. Today I heard that Princess Tararai, the younger sister, has come to visit Princess Alisa at the front palace. Pikoe suddenly blurted out without a clue. She came with her only daughter named Chaungfa, my lady. I see. I pretended to answer Pikoe's words like that, with no interest in interfering with the matter of the front palace master at all. Why did Pikoe suddenly mention this? I saw you looking for Princess Anil. Is my expression so obvious? I have raised my eyebrows, a little doubtful, at my own posture. Yes, my lady, Picoy said, smiling like a kind person. Your neck looks so long now. My face suddenly heated up, but I clenched my lips tightly and pretended to see another way, without daring to make direct eye contact with Picoy as usual. Is Princess Anil required to stay and greet her relatives? Which is why she is not frolicking around the Bua Palace, as she typically does? I decided to ask Picoy directly until it was in the minute of curiosity, slashing and overcoming the arrogance and the attitude. Yes, my lady, said Picoy, while her hands were strapping Maparang non-stop. Chao Engfa is Princess Anil's closest cousin. Princess Tararai was also pleased with Princess Anil, her youngest niece. Every time she comes, she only calls for Princess Anil. It seems like everyone is favoring Princess Anil, Picoe. I popped up an unknown smile when I thought of the sun-rayed smile of my youngest auntie, Princess Anil. Yes, Princess Anil is cheerful and bright. The people who see her love her. I smiled at Picoe's words before turning my head and eyes, stripping Maparang diligently. Chow Wang Fa, is she a grown woman? I asked Koe after we had been silent for a while. She's approaching her full womanhood. She's beautiful, especially when she's dressed in Lana clothes. Her white skin, dazzling delicate face, and her courteous manners. I nodded in response to Pico's words with absent mindedness, not paying much attention. Lady Pin is also stunning. Your mannerisms are neat and cute as well. Is that so? I pretended to raise my eyebrows knowingly. Picoy was afraid that I would be disappointed, so she quickly praised me nominally. Yes, my lady, Picoy nodded, afraid that I wouldn't believe it. Between Chao Engfa and Princess Anil, who is more beautiful? Well, it's not easy to make comparison with Princess Anil. She possesses a unique kind of beauty. Princess Anil is akin to a living sculpture, with her tall, graceful stature, flawless skin, and a face that resembles a work of art. The only drawback is her mischievous nature, my lady. It seems that Pico's two beautiful people are walking side by side over there. It would be difficult to claim that I saw both by chance, as the tip of my eye seemed to be looking at the path that Anil often used when she came to the Boa Palace. After seeing with my own eyes that the girl Picoy was talking about which is now walking side by side with Princess Anil in a close, intimate gesture, as if they were siblings from the same parents. I was stunned for a moment. The sight in front of me is as beautiful as a painting by a master painter. Pretty, but it was annoying. Chow Fa is a slender young woman. Even today, she's not dressed in the Lana style as Picoy has praised, but the beauty under the sweet, contemporary, long dress also made her look outstanding. I frowned my brows as soon as I saw that tall person walking beside her, scattered sweet smiles to me from afar. Who wants to smile back at Anil? Are you striping Maparang, Kunpin, Mekoi? Anil greets with a bright voice as soon as she stepped onto the terrace of the Bua Palace. Is there anything for me and Kunyong to eat? I looked after the owner of the voice before looking towards the women who were standing side by side. The closer I looked, the more I saw how beautiful Chow Engfa's face was, more than I have ever guessed. Her small face looks soothing. Her big light brown eyes are glittering, and her light colored full lips are well matched with the small dazzling nose. There's some flower shaped dumplings, Your Highness. Pekoe quickly responded to Anil with the most agitated attitude. I will offer them to you now, Your Highness. You don't have to hurry up like that, Pekoe. I interrupted in a cold and dull voice that even I could feel. For you might fall down and injure your head. Yes, ma'am. Pekoe also turned to answer me before rushing into the Bua Palace main kitchen. Anil would like to introduce Kunyong to you, Kunpin. Anil leaned her face forward and widened her eyes imperiously. Nevertheless, for some inexplicable reason, it wasn't evident that my affection for Anil was not as strong as it used to be. Yes, I answered shortly. This is Kunyong or Choangfa, my mother's niece. Anil smiled as she gestured towards Choangfa. This is Pilantita, Auntie Pat's niece Kunyong. Hello, Chow. Not just her sweet face, but Choangfa's voice is sweeter. Hello, Kunyong. I raised my hand in a greeting, assuming that Choangfa must have been older, as her physique now appeared more mature compared to Anil and me, who still seemed to be hovering on the cusp between childhood and adolescence. I brought Kunyong to the Boa Palace because I boasted quite a bit about how much I prefer the snacks here. Anil chattered, but I didn't listen to it like I used to. Really? My tone sounded extremely numb. Yes, the tall girl still smiled widely, unconsciously showing off her dimples. Indeed, Chow, sister said endlessly that Boa Palace snack is tasty. It's true, my lady, Prick answered firmly. I was surprised that I didn't even notice Prick at all. If it tastes good, eat it a lot. It's a shame that I didn't make a lot. I spoke up as soon as I saw that beautiful face with a disturbing smile. I wasn't aware Princess Anil was coming, and I had no idea there would be guests. However, I have come to the Bua Palace every day anyway. Where have you been? I am pretending to be asking for ransom. I took Chow for a walk around the palace, Princess Anil said, then smiled, not knowing how clouded my emotions were. Pekoe walked over with a tray of purple flower shaped dumplings. At that moment, Prick rushed in to help as she licked her lips with her tongue until I had to look with forbiddingly at her with my surly eyes. I'm sorry. Prick retracted her neck and gave a teasing smile. I can't help but be hungry. It looks so delicious. I want to eat it right now too, Kunpen. That's right, Chow, Chow Angfa said while smiling sweetly to Anil. Did Kunpan make all this? Pico and I helped each other on this. I raised my head up arrogantly. Please eat a lot, Kunyong. Yes, Chow. Chow Angfa's melodious voice effortlessly captivates the audience, almost lulling me into a trance. I would have succumbed to it if it weren't for the distracting sight in front of me, which made me furrow my brow first. The image of Chow Angfa uses a small fork to carefully divide the flower shaped dumplings into four parts before forking one of the four parts, blowing gently, and then feeding it to the lips of Anil with a gentle gesture that I had to look not to be out of my sight. The image of Chongfa in the sky with a small fork divides the purple bouquet into four parts, then dips one of the four parts up and blows it gently and feed it to Anil's lips with a gentle honesty that I have to follow without losing sight of it. It's hot, Chow. Sister, eat slowly, Chow. Chow and Fan Anil had been back at the front palace for quite some time now. Yet my listless emotions still clung to my thoughts and surroundings, much like the humidity that saturates the air on a hot, muggy day before a rain shower. Fortunately, I have been back alone in my bedroom for a while. Unfortunately, I don't know how to deal with my own gloomy thoughts. I can't quite discern why I'm not as joyful as I once was when I watched Anil enjoy my dessert with the same delight as in the past. Moreover, I was so irritated when I saw Anil smile at Chongfa as if the whole world was just only Anil and Chongfa, the two of them. I can only pick up my journal and let out some feelings. I regard the book as a close friend who listens unconditionally to my good and bad stories. 12th March. I never really like it when Anil is constantly surrounded by so many people. Anil smiled at everyone, and Anil's smile was so cute and bright that I wanted to keep it with me. But how can I do that? I don't like it when Anil is so interested in Lady Engfa, her elder cousin from Chiang Mai, both about taking a walk around the palace and inviting her to have snacks at the Bua Palace. Doesn't Anil know that the Bua Palace snack and dessert are only offered to Auntie and Anil? There's no more for others. I know that Anil is cute, but can Anil be cute with me only? I could only write that and close my notebook, not knowing what better to do. Until now, I haven't blamed Princess Anil for my problems, for I blame only my unmanageable emotions alone. At school, the person who always stayed beside Anil wasn't the prick who I was familiar with. Instead, it was Alisara, the second daughter of the Grand Ambassador of the United Kingdom, who had a dazzling face and was just as sought after by the boys in the opposite school as the popular star. Where there's Anil, Kunon often appears by her side as if they were shadows of each other. If you are asking me if I'm used to it, I'm used to it. If you're asking if I like it, I don't like it. I even dislike her, especially during this period. Every noon, I go to the cafeteria for lunch. I always encounter Anil, who is surrounded by a lot of people, but the only person who was next to Anil's body was still Kunon. Anil's companions frequently opted to sit at the table beneath the expensive canopy of a raindrop tree that provided ample shade. In the company of her friends, Anil transformed into a less talkative presence, assuming the role of a keen listener who maintained a radiant smile. However, She still stood out prominently amidst the group, akin to a second sun, surrounded by a constellation of varying sized satellites. While my best friend, Vilayapon, and I often choose a table in the nooks and crannies of buildings where the sun barely shines, I always choose a seat on the side that can see Anil. Many times I was surprised at my behavior, but in the end, I let everything flow to my heart's desire. I always act unkind every time Anil notices me and chooses to raise her hand to say hello while sending me a big smile. Because at such times, Anil's friends, including Kunon, always looked at me in surprise. So I responded to Anil's greeting by pretending not to see it. But even if I pretended to ignore Anil, I don't wish Anil would go back with Kunon every evening for a week like this. I'm always waiting for Anil to come and wait for Chauke and come back to the palace together someday. I feel very displeased to see Anil inviting Kunon to join the royal car back for several days continuously. I endured from Monday to Friday, but Anil still chooses to go back with Kunon every day like that. However, every afternoon, Anil still came to the Bua Palace every day as usual, except today, which is a weekend. As far as I looked, I couldn't even see a shadow, only to see Prick wandering around looking for snacks as usual. I could only ask about Anil. Prick then gave the news that Anil was attending Kun On's birthday party and would stay at Kun On's house for one night. I listened to Prick's words with a wavering emotion, but instead, my expression was as calm as usual. So it can't be helped that tonight I inevitably choose to converse with my journal again. 30th April. I tried, but in the end, my tears kept flowing. I can only tell myself that Anil was not stuck to her new friend Khun On, the ambassador's daughter, and forgot about me. However, when I found that Anil chose to go to Khun On's birthday party at Savasti Fat Mansion instead of visiting me at the palace on the weekend like you always do, I couldn't help but cry in my room. Even as I was writing this diary right now, I still sobbed non-stop. Will Anil know that today I have been looking for you since late afternoon till evening? I don't even see your shadow. I'm really angry at you. I shut my journal and keep asking myself again and again, why is everything related to Anil so important? That's it for this chapter, guys. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. It really helps support the channel and keep me motivated. Thank you.